Hey everybody, welcome to our week 4 of your Best Self series. I can't believe that we've already are at week 4. There's just so much to go over, so much I want to share with you, but I really just want to keep things succinct and pretty basic because it doesn't take much to get your health back on track. It really doesn't. We looked at drinking water. We looked at healthy digestion and what that means and how we can support it. And then we talked about moving your body, the simple act of getting up and moving, whatever that looks like for you. So this week we're keeping it simple again, but I'm going to tune into some herbal allies around this simple yet sometimes challenging act. And that is the act and the prioritizing around sleep. Sleep is so important to our bodies. Again, yeah, a lot of you are probably saying like, duh, yeah, sleeping, drinking water, of course, we know these things, but are we making time for them? Are we prioritizing them? Are we really taking it seriously and offering our bodies the rest and space for rejuvenation and detoxification that sleep provides us? And you know, there have been studies that people have literally died from not getting enough sleep, like that. There's such a thing as that. You know, it's really the only time that we stop on some level for our physical body to catch up and to kind of give it that boost and kind of press that reset button. So if we're not getting enough sleep or if we're not getting good sleep, everything else is going to be, you know, upset from it. Everything else is going to be it's going to wreak havoc and throw us off kilter in every other area of our health and wellness. And of course, the rest of our lives, right? So, a few things about sleep. You can look up lots of different studies on sleep and how much the average person needs. And of course, we're all a little bit different, right? You know, we don't all have the exact black and white needs, but in a perfect world, excuse me, I feel a sneeze coming on. Excuse me. In a perfect world, 6 to 8 hours at the minimum is perfect. And I know a lot of you busy bees out there are probably saying, you know, what? Like, are you kidding me? I can barely get 6 at that. Well, baby steps, right? One of the things I like to encourage some of my clients who are having a harder time getting to bed and making more time for that sleep is just adding on like 10 minutes a day. Just go to bed 10 minutes earlier. Working your way up to trying to just create a schedule that allows you to get to sleep faster so that you can relax and rest and hopefully extend the amount of hours that you're getting in your sleep. So a little bit from an Ayurvedic perspective, which is something that I'm teaching in a class in the new year, Living Ayurveda. It's an amazing system of health and well-being stemming from the ancient texts of India. And it talks about tuning back into your own nature and the nature that surrounds us. So there's something about the routine of when we wake and sleep and how that nourishes our bodies and enables us to get the rest and relaxation and feel the most vital during the day as well and energized. So in a perfect world, Ayurvedically speaking, and this is for any of the body types, the Vata, Pitta, Kapha that is mentioned in Ayurveda, is that you want to get up with the birds and kind of not quite go to bed with them, but you want to go to bed at a similar time as well. So what does that look like? Of course, this time of year, especially in the Northeast, it's, you know, it gets dark earlier and it's dark earlier in the morning. So it's a little bit harder to get motivated, but typically if you get up anytime before 7 a.m., that's awesome. That's a perfect time to get up because your mind is the most active during that time. So it's like I've also noticed, you know, and you might notice this too, because I have an alarm on my phone and I'm a snoozer. I'll just keep hitting the snooze button, especially on the days where I'm just like, man, I just want to sleep in. I don't feel like getting up right now. And that's definitely a struggle for me sometimes. But I do notice that I'll often wake up before my alarm goes off at 5 o'clock and I am wide open. My eyes are wide open. I'm wide awake. My mind is nice and clear and calm. I'm like, boom, ready. But sometimes I'm just like, man, I just want 5 more minutes because it's so cozy and warm and, you know, I want to snuggle with my husband and whatnot. So I'll hit the snooze button. And then often I'll continue to hit that snooze button maybe until 6 or 6:30. And then I'll wake up and I feel even groggier. Like it kind of continues on where I was like, oh, like I wish I'd gotten up an hour ago because I felt way better. This will continue to happen, especially if you push past the 7 a.m. marker, you'll really feel exhausted. And this is all about following the energy of the day. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha relates to people, but also relates to time of day. So Vata is when you're most vibrant, your mind's awake. This is, anytime from 4 in the morning to 7, that's Vata time. That's when you are just kind of ready to jump into your day, and your creative juices are flowing. Everything feels good. Your action, your sort of fire, if you will. And then after 7, you go into Kapha time. And Kapha is the heavier energy of just like the slower moving, a little bit more lethargic, a little bit just more like, and you definitely will feel that energy if you continue to sleep in past that 7 a.m. time. So that is just something about getting in the routine to waking up at a specific hour. And it also pertains to on the flip side. So as you're winding down from your day, typically you want to go to bed no later than 11. And I know a lot of you are like, oh my gosh, how is that possible? I have kids and I have extra emails and work that is waiting for me that I like to get done at the end of the day. When 11 hits, you get your second wind. That pitta energy of Ayurveda, it sparks that fire. It sparks that motivation. It gets like you going for, oh, I'm just going to call that person back. Oh, I hope you don't call anyone at 11 o'clock, but maybe you email that last person. Maybe you get that last paper corrected if you're a teacher. You get that spark of just to keep going and just, one more thing, one more episode on Netflix, one more chapter in my book. And that progresses until 2 in the morning sometimes. So depending on how tired you are, that pitta time, which is really around 10:30, 11 until 2, that fire can keep on burning. And then after that, it's a lot harder to fall asleep, right? Not necessarily just because of your regular racing monkey brain that we all have, the thoughts going on in our head, winding down from our day, but also the energy that pitta kind of holds in that space from 10:30 till 2 o'clock. So a.m. I'm talking. So if you catch yourself and you're able to get to bed 10:30, 10 o'clock's even better, you are then able to hopefully fall asleep. And then when 11 o'clock rolls around, that fire, that pitta energy, its role is playing on your body to detox, to rejuvenate, to get those harder actions done within our internal organs, to really accumulate things that aren't serving, to really kind of heal those frayed nerves, kind of just, again, hit that reset button. That's what the pitta energy is for, that extra fire, to burn all those toxins, to get things moving during that period from 10:30, 11 till 2 in the morning. But if we're awake during that time, if we're up, if we're drinking another cup of tea or coffee, if we're snacking on some popcorn, our body's like, damn, this is our detox time. This is our like flushing, cleaning house time to rejuvenate so that we can help Amanda for tomorrow morning to feel fresh. If I'm awake, if I'm doing those things during that pitta time, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot, right? Because I'm not resting, I'm not relaxing, I'm eating, I'm drinking, I'm alert. This is not what your body really needs to get that fresh start in the morning. So again, just things to be mindful of. Our body really loves routine, and that goes for any area of life, but also when it comes to our rest and our relaxation and getting to bed at a certain time. So I know this can be challenging for a lot of folks, but just being mindful, on trying to go to bed 5 minutes, 10 minutes earlier every single night until maybe you get to an extra half an hour of sleep or an extra hour even. Same thing with getting up. Wake up 5 minutes earlier, if that's something that you struggle with. A lot of us are getting up early anyways because that's just how our schedules make it. But it's so important to get that sleep in. It's the only time we stop for our bodies, for our minds, so we can process, so we can cleanse, so we can regenerate. All very important things that happen only when we are sleeping. So think about that. And then if you are someone who struggles with the sleep thing, the monkey brain, the to-do lists that sometimes just go round and round, or maybe it's the physical body, you're just so physically tense that you can't actually relax. Maybe you get muscle cramps or spasms at night. Maybe it's a combination. I have some herbal allies for you. So In the previous, I think it was the second series video I gave you on digestion, I offered you some links about how to make teas and overnight infusions and whatnot. So you can use these same recipes with the herbs I'm offering to you right now. Oh, another sneeze is coming on, excuse me. Well, pardon me. So a couple of my favorite tried and true sleepy time herbs, and you know, some of these you might think like, what, just that? Like that's gonna help me? Sometimes less is more with sleep. A lot of people think they need to really like knock themselves over the head with something like, you know, a valerian, which, you know, can work for a lot of folks, but sometimes it's simple cup of chamomile tea or lemon balm tea, or even skullcap is another nice one. And skullcap is very particular to and specific to calming the mind and calming the physical body. So it helps for those spasms and that tension in the body. Valerian, again, is also another great choice for some folks. It is sort of on the heavier handed sort of herbal ally in the ways of making you fall asleep. Chamomile and lemon balm are just gentle nervous system relaxants, but they're very calming to the mind and the body. They're both antispasmodics as well, not quite as potent as skullcap, but they're just really, they taste delicious. Actually, all these herbs, I think valerian tastes good. Not everyone likes valerian, but I love the taste of chamomile, skullcap, and lemon balm, and they all blend really nicely together. So if you wanted to put a pinch of all three, you could do that as well. But sometimes less is more. Sometimes you just need a little bit of that calming action to really just, and the ritual, you know, the actual herb, it's the volatile oils that offer the functions to your body to relax, but also the act of making yourself a cup of tea, maybe, you know, sitting in bed and reading a chapter of your book before you're, or writing in your journal. Sometimes, actually, that's a great sort of adjunct to add to this, is that journaling or writing down your to-do list, or just writing down whatever's on your mind to be like, okay, brain, I'm not gonna forget these things, or I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not ignoring these things, but right now it's time to rest. So let me write them down, or let me process out what happened today that's still in my mind, and I'm gonna put that down, so don't worry, I'm not forgetting it. I'm gonna wait until tomorrow to pick that back up and start thinking about it again. Sometimes it's nice to actually have that physical release of writing something down to just get it out of your head. And then the tea, and then you just relax and you go to bed. You can always also get these in tincture form and add a half a dropper or a drop or two of some hot water, but I really prefer tea. The act of making yourself a cup of tea is really, really potent. So those are my 4 go-tos, and actually one more is popping into my head that wants me to talk about it, which is oat straw or oat tops. You can find that herb in either form. I like both, but oats is another nervine or nervous system herb that's all about nourishing and regenerating the nervous system, mental and physical. And it's for those people who are so tired they can't relax to go to sleep. I know that sounds totally screwed up and backwards, but a lot of people are just so stressed and so run down and so overworked that they can't even relax. They're just so tired. They just can't. They don't know how. Oat tops, oat straw is a great one for that. So any of those herbs will work really lovely hand in hand. And again, you can get them at any of your health food stores. I'll send a link for some of my favorite resources in bulk, because you often save a lot of money buying in bulk. And I have a couple online references for you there in tea. And so revisit those tea recipes that I shared with you on class 2. And then the other end of things that will help you kind of get into that relaxing mode if you have a hard time getting a good night's rest is rubbing your feet. Now, this doesn't have to be fancy. You can just even use whatever cooking oil you have in your house, whether it's sesame, whether it's olive oil, coconut oil. Just pour a little bit into your palm and rub your feet. Even better, get an essential oil and add essential oil to it. Now in fact, I'll add my link for my sort of 2 cents on essential oils blog post, because there's a lot of essential oil use in the world right now, and there's a lot of improper ways that they're being used. So please know how to use essential oils safely, and use my blog post to kind of guide you in those safety rules. please. But you can add a drop of essential oil to an ounce or so of whatever oil base you have to rub your feet. And not only is the act of rubbing your feet really quick and really simple, I'm talking a minute or 30 seconds a foot, or maybe treat yourself a little more and do a minute a foot. Just rubbing your feet. First of all, reflexology is a thing. If you don't know what reflexology is, you should check out this link I'm posting here. But basically, it's that, just like we talked about how our tongue can tell us about what's going on with our digestive tract, our feet can tell us a lot about what's going on with our internal bodies as well. And reflexology kind of maps out the bottoms of our feet with being sort of connected to different organs and different areas of our skeletal system. And so when we're massaging our feet, we're massaging our whole body, and we're relaxing the nervous system, and our feet take the brunt of everything, right? We're on them a lot. So giving our foot a quick little rub is one of the best things. Plus, if you're using some essential oils, those are all essential oils are antimicrobial in some way, shape, or form. So they're already going to be killing off microbes or viruses that might be you're picking up from your environment. And what's so cool is that the bottoms of our feet have the largest pores in all of our skin. So it very easily absorbs those essential oils, and then those essential oils are absorbed into our bloodstream and start acting systemically. So those added little medicinal benefits that essential oils have to give to us are absorbed very quickly through the feet. And you don't need a lot. Essential oils are incredibly potent. You never want to use them straight. You always want to add them to a carrier oil of some sort. So rubbing your feet with just plain old oil, or adding an essential oil blend to your oil base and giving your foot rub. Some of my favorite essential oils that you might also enjoy for relaxation, I have lavender's a simple one, right? But not everyone loves lavender. I love lavender, but a lot of people that I found hate it. So that's a kind of a simple go-to one. But also some of the citrus, so mandarin, bergamot. What else did I have here? Lemongrass. Those are all really lovely. And while people think of citrus as stimulating and energizing, they can be, but they're also very calming and soothing. So that might be some that you resonate more with. A couple others, more of the earthier, herby scents. Marjoram is really lovely. Spruce and cypress. I love those. Those are really more earthy, grounding sort of scents that, again, you can add a drop or two. You can combine a couple of these. Again, check my blog post for specific dilution rates and safety issues around essential oils. But they can be so healing and so nourishing. And again, you're creating a ritual around getting to bed, right? So you're making your cup of tea, you're rubbing your feet. These things don't take a lot of time. They really don't. So if you're one of those people who are balking at, I don't have time for this, I'm talking about 5 minutes of your time, really. You're boiling your water while you're doing something else. You put your tea bag in, you're pouring your cup of tea, and then you head upstairs with your bottle of oil, rub your feet, you're done. It doesn't take a lot of time. So all these things I'm sharing with you during the series is just about really making the time for it. But with all these things, they can be, I want to say we can exist without them, but not really, not with the sleep part, but we can live our lives without really moving with intention. We can go through our lives with really crappy digestion. We can go through our lives being chronically dehydrated, but do we want to? Are we going to feel good? No. So you have to make time for these things. And I promise you, the more, minutes you carve out for yourself, slowly but surely, the more you'll just integrate them into your everyday lives, and you won't even think about doing them anymore. It'll just be the same thing as taking a shower and brushing your teeth. Those are things you just do. You don't think about doing them, you just do them because that's what you do to take care of yourself, right? So think about it that way. Think about those baby steps and thinking about, oh my gosh, I don't have time. You have to make time. And all of these things that we're talking about, they don't take much time at all. They truly don't. So I hope I have kind of inspired you to look at your sleep in a different way, maybe reassess the quality of the sleep you're getting, the amount of hours, when you're going to sleep, when you're waking, and maybe some herbal allies that you'd like to include into your routine to make the whole process a little bit more potent for you and a little bit more satisfying and nourishing for your mind, body, and spirit. So thanks so much for tuning in. Please keep all of your posts coming. They're a lot of fun to tune into. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I love hearing from you all. Even though this should be our last week, I'm going to throw one more in. So we have a bonus week coming next week for the 5th week of this Your Best Self series. So I just couldn't help myself. I had to throw one more week on. So I will be talking to you one last time next week. Again, thanks for tuning in. And that is also when I'll be announcing, or actually emailing, the winners for those little herbal gift packages, or goodies rather. So if you still wanted to enter, please just post and use the hashtag Your Best Self series and Lion's Tooth Wellness so I see it. And I will enter you into that contest. All right, guys, thanks so much. I will talk to you soon.